Alright, I'm gonna change the water pump on my 96 Grand Cherokee, the 4.0. Kind of go through and show you how I do it. Maybe it'll help somebody out. First thing I do, make sure the engine's cool. And then you get down over here underneath to drain the radiator of the antifreeze. I'm gonna get under there, drain it in a bucket. Right up, right back in there, there's like a half-turn plastic drain. You just twist it out and it'll come out and start gushing. Drain it in a bucket. And after that's all done, come up, take the shroud off. Got a nut here, a nut here. They're 10 millimeter. I've already broke these loose. Next I'm gonna take the belt off, and to take the belt off, there's a adjuster. This doesn't have the spring-loaded tensioner on it, so right down there. See if I can get some better light. There you can see it. That bolt right there. Oh, I did see it. 5/8 is a 5/8 bolt. That's the adjuster for the tension. But before you do that, you got to loosen the this bolt right here, and that's the idler. So you loosen that, and then you loosen that bolt there, and it'll take the tension off the belt so you can get it off. Alright, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll get back on and show you what I do next. Alright, backtrack just a little bit. Here's that drain plug that's in the bottom of the radiator. Kind of show you what it looks like. It's just real coarse thread. It just kind of twists in like that, corkscrews in. It's got the O-ring right there to seal it. Okay, there's that, and then show you how this adjuster works. I got an air ratchet on there, so make it a little easier. Okay, here we go. And when you watch down there, see that pulley back off, that lower one. And that's probably good. Just like that. Okay, I'll get all that off. And I'll take the fan off. I've already broke the nuts loose off of it. Down in there. I'll show you that better when I get the shroud out of the way. Okay, I got the nuts off of the water pump off the fan. I don't know if you can see my screwdriver right there. That's a little better shot. There's 4 of them there. They're a 13 millimeter nut. Get them all loose. Then you can pull the fan off and the shroud out at the same time. But on the shroud, I wanted to show you, if you got an automatic transmission, which you probably do, there's a clip right here holding the transmission cooling line that you need to get a screwdriver and pop off, or it'll hold you on there. So that's where that shroud goes. You pull that out. I can't do this one-handed, but I'll get that out and then we'll go from there. Okay, I got the shroud and the fan off and the belt off. Also, I took off the upper radiator hose. That helped a lot. Slide the shroud to the side. Be careful when you raise that up, you don't bend the fins in your radiator. You don't want to bend those up. Alright, so next comes the water pump. There's the culprit. So what we've got here to take off, we've got 5/8 here, and a 5/8 right down here. And then these are 9/16. Then right up here is your heater hose line right there, and that's a 3/4. And break that loose first while you got it bolted down so it's easy to get off. Then the lower radiator hose has got to come off right here. And then when I get it off, we got to take these studs out, and I'll show you a little trick to get those off, to put those in your new water pump. Okay, I'm gonna buzz these off and get it all off, and we'll go back and I'll tune in then. Okay, I got that water heater line broke loose. Now I've got to take this idler pulley off, and then of course the other end of the heater hose. And notice that it goes pretty much 90 degrees back, so when you go to put this back in, got to make sure that that's at the right angle, straight back. Okay, so I'm going to pull this off, and then there's several of these bolts all the way around, and then the two 5/8. So I'll get that done and check back. Okay, I got all those bolts out, and I wound up having to loosen up the power steering bolts. I didn't take them all the way out, but I could tell I wasn't going to have enough room to slide this out. So I loosened, there's 3 bolts, and they're 9/16 as well, and access them through these holes with a socket. Just rotate that pulley around to the 3 different bolts. There's that one, and then there's one down on the bottom there you can't see. So I'm ready to pop it off and see if it's going to come out for me. A little pry in, hopefully it'll pop right out. I wasn't expecting that much coolant to come out, but I had a bucket handy in case it did. And there, the POS is out. So take this into the bench and clean all the gasket area up on the block. Take those studs out and this heater hose tube. Okay, when I get to that point, I'll check back in. Okay, here's a little trick I learned to get these studs out. I call it double nutting. So put one nut on, make sure you got enough to get a full nut, another nut, and you put your wrench on there. What I'm going to do here is jam these 2 nuts together. Okay, they're jammed together. Then you take this back one. See that? Break it loose. Once it's broke loose, you can get back in the frame here. You take your other nut off. Get back in the shot here. Do the same on the others. Might need a little more help. Then you just take and install those the same way. Jam the two together and run them in. Alright, I'm going to do that. Clean all my surfaces of my new water pump. Don't need to worry about this one. Clean the block and start to assemble it. Okay, I'll see you then. Okay, I got all the studs put in. And my heater hose tube. I wrap this, they say at least three wraps of Teflon tape to make a seal. I went 5 because I want to be able to adjust this bend so it's 90. It comes straight back like it was on the motor. So I want to just be able to have that little bit extra slip. You can get this at your hardware store that's in the plumbing department. It's Teflon tape. In case some of you don't know, it's not sticky. It's just real smooth. It's Teflon, of course, but it's really thin. You can pull it and stretch it, and that allows it to seal on the threads there. So I wire brushed the ends so they're nice and clean there for the hose to go on so it don't leak on me. So get the idea. So I'm gonna get that turned around the right way and then go start cleaning the motor. Okay, I got the water pump all ready to go. Got the water heater hose tube all Teflon tightened up. Got my gasket on. Got the block all cleaned. Scraped it with the scraper. Heavy duty scraper. Pretty thick. And then I put anti-seize in all the bolt holes where the bolts go. I like to do that where there's water around because the bolts get kind of corroded when they're around the water and the antifreeze. So you don't have to use anti-seize, but I think that's the best. You can use a little bit of grease. You don't want to put a whole lot in there because they're a blind hole. There's nowhere for it to go. You just put a thin coating. I actually used a Q-tip for your ears. I just wiped the inside of them with anti-seize. So in case you didn't know or didn't notice, this hole right here takes the longer bolt. There's 4 bolts that hold it on. These 3 are the same. That one's the long one. At least it was on mine when I took it apart. Alright, I'm gonna start putting this back in and I'll tune back in and let you know how it's going. Okay, I've got everything pretty well buttoned up here. Water pump's all bolted up, pulley's back on, hose back on, power steering pump tightened. So now I'm going to put the fan and the shroud back in and the belt. So yeah, it's pretty much just backwards of taking it apart, make sure everything's clean. I took the upper radiator hose off and cleaned that up while I was right here, so I'll finish putting it back together and show you, hopefully show you it's running. Okay, I'll tune back in then. Okay, all back together. running. No leaks yet. So that's a good sign. Hope this helps somebody out. If you have any comments, help anybody else, post them down in the comments section, and maybe we can help other people out on this YouTube. So if you like it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share. Sure appreciate it. Have a good one.